hand of a person who is aged 27 years old. And before I start my video, I would request you to press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update. To get a paid palmistry reading, you can call me or you can email me. The phone number and the email is mentioned. And out here we straight away head to this particular hand image that we see out here. We are taking a look at the left hand first. It's generally said we should take a look at, we should consider the right hand, but it's not like that. We have to consider both the hands to come to the final conclusion. But more active is going to be the right hand if the person is a right-handed person, and assume that the person is a right-handed person. I'm assuming that. And if we take a look at both the hands, you would notice, I will be showing it at a later stage. Both the hands, there is some dissimilarity. One thing is that the heart line, this is basically the heart line, this is going from one end to the other. This is not such a case in the right hand. When the heart line is very long, it basically makes the person super idealistic and very sensitive, and these people are very touchy about things and they have got higher expectations from a relationship. So disappointments are likely to come about due to this particular nature of this particular person like this. So first thing is this. The second thing is that when we compare the heart line to the headline, this is basically the headline. The heart line is kind of overpowering because it's very long and strong. So it's overpowering your mind line. So what happens is that all the decisions are taken by the heart, and the person is unable to cage his heart and contain his heart, and that is the reason why the person is always going to be very idealistic, because this area, the first finger area, the Jupiter area is for idealism and sensitivity and higher expectations. And if it goes from one end to the other, so the person also becomes possessive by nature. Possessiveness is not in terms of money, but in terms of relationship. So this is the first part. The second part is that this is basically the headline, and the headline is splitting into two parts and then further splitting into two, and the other headline is kind of starting from above, and it's kind of having the branches, one pointing towards the Jupiter and one pointing towards the Saturn. See, generally it is said that if we have got a break in the headline, so some major changes does come about, take place in this particular person's life. This means that the person's whole personality, his whole thought process is likely to change, turn around completely. So this is what is represented by this changeover in the headline. Each line we have to consider, it's something like a river and it flows, but if there's a break in the flow, then another, and sometimes we find another flow. So and that too is starting above the main headline. Starting above the main headline, another line of head, when it starts, it is considered to be good, and specifically pointing towards the Jupiter. Jupiter being a big planet, it basically means growth, expansion in one's life. So the person moves towards growth and expansion and government, all these things, basically the person moves. And the line that moves towards the Saturn, this is the area of money and money management. So both these things is going to play a much more major role of somewhere around the age of 33. This is where the timing is. The reason why I say 33, because the intersection of the headline, this is basically the headline. I'm just going to redraw it. This is basically the headline, sorry, the money line, and the intersection is basically, this age is 35. So this portion of the headline is starting before the age of 35. So we would just take an approximate view that it could be around the age of 32, 33. That's when things are going to change for him. Now we take a look at the other lines, that is the sun line. Sun line is becoming prominent somewhere at the age of 44. Why we say 44? Because imagine if the line was starting something like this, the intersection of the headline and the sun line, this would be 35. the heart line and the sun line intersection would be 53. So somewhere in the middle of 35 and 53, this is the middle part. So this portion is going to be 44. So somewhere before the age of 44, around the age of 42, things is likely to become better as seen in the left hand. This is only what we see in the left hand. Now we move on to the right hand. I'm assuming that sometimes when we take the images, it might be incorrect. This finger appears to be a little bit shorter, and it's shorter, it's not reaching the top phalange line. I'm assuming it to be shorter. If this finger is shorter, it means that the person creates distance between their loved ones. Distance gets created. This is what is seen in the left hand and not necessarily on the right hand. And this is basically the finger of communication, technical skills. So let us move on to the right hand. Now we take a look at basically the right hand. Even in the right hand, the line is comparatively long, reaching the mount of Jupiter. And reaching the mount of Jupiter is basically, although money line basically depicts money, but apart from the money line, even the heart line can tell something or the other about your money matters. So I'm talking about money matters on your heart line. So the heart line is very long and reaching the mount of Jupiter. It means that the person is idealistic and sensitive, and the person does not value money. So these people basically, the person might disagree, because everybody is basically getting influenced by the world, by the society, and everybody, because the society wants, that's the reason this particular person would also want more money. But if they look deep down within themselves, probably they would realize that they are happy with even lesser money, but they value more of sensitivity and idealism than money. So such people are not very good money managers, and because they do not angle towards money, that is the reason why less money is going to come to them. If they value money, if they start to value money, then basically more money is going to come to them. So they have to start to value money. This is one part. The other, see, basically most businessmen have their heart line end somewhere out here under the finger of Saturn. This is what these people angle towards money. They want money. If you take a look at the hands of Shah Rukh Khan, Sachin Tendulkar, any big person, most of the big person, you would find that the heart line ends out here. Almost all good businessmen have their heart line ending under the mount of Saturn. So it's not just the money line that would tell you about the money, even the heart line can tell about the money. From each and every line can tell opposite also. Like a lifeline can also tell about the money, your headline can also tell about the money, because this is the question everybody wants to know about. So that's the reason why I am concentrating on the money part. Again, the other aspect on the heart line is that you would notice that there are few branches like these things hanging onto the heart. I'm just going to remove these. These are the lines that I'm referring to. So these lines are basically lines of a person being flirtatious. Flirtatious does not mean flirting with a woman only. It could be flirting with your work. The person is likely to get distracted. The person might have made many goals in life, many goals. So it's always better to focus in a person's life instead of having multiple goals. Singular goal, chances of success increases. If you've got multiple goals, the chances basically decrease. So the person needs to come into focus. And these lines that you see on the heart line, these are the extra baggage the person carries. The extra baggage of past disappointments or other things the person is carrying. Our weight is enough, and we have to carry the extra baggage of the past also. So it adds up to the weight. So what is going to happen is the heart, this is the heart. So heart is getting tired. These are the line of attachments that we are seeing on the heart line. So we are drawing attachments on the heart line like this and creating small weight onto the heart line. This is the physical heart. So what happens is the person's heart is getting tired due to stress and anxiety. These branches on the heart line means attachments in life. Attachments bring in expectations. Expectations are not fulfilled. that is the reason why disappointments basically creep in. So the person needs to practice detachment. Now detachment, people don't understand what detachment is. Detachment is what Gita says. Our holy book Gita says in Hinduism. Gita is basically says that you have to be in the moment without having expectation of the outcome. If you are like that, then the chances of success increases. Detachment is not detaching yourself from your parents or your loved ones. Detachment is moh nahi hona, being in the moment without having expectation of the outcome. So if the person tries to understand the meaning of detachment and follows what it says, it basically would improve his life to a much greater extent. Apart from this heart line, there appears to be another line that is running parallel. Although sometimes there's a curvature in this particular line, and this is known as the line of girdle of Venus, if this is a curved kind of a line. But even this line could be considered as the girdle of Venus, although there is not a circular motion, but still it's running parallel. This is called the sister line to the heart line, and sister line means that the person becomes much more emotional. So this is what happens. The difference in the left and the right hand was that you would have noticed that the the headline was breaking and changing over, but in this case there's a single kind of a line continuing, and towards the end it's slowly moving a little bit upward. It's pointing towards the mount of Mercury. See, any line moving upward, even if they are from the heart line, this is the heart line, if they move upward, those are considered to be good. If they move downwards to the base of the palm, those are basically negative kind of lines. So upward movement of the headline, and specifically towards the end of the life, is also considered to be good, because what happens is generally during the last period of one's life there are lots of disappointments and trouble and all those things. So but if we have a very clear-cut kind of a headline towards the end of life, then it means that things are going to be beautiful for him. This is another way of looking how a person is going to be successful on the headline, and specifically towards the end of the life. But if we take a look at the headline in the other aspects, I'm just taking another hand image, the better hand quality image. This is a better quality hand image that we see. So the negative aspects of this particular headline is that this is the headline, and there are few backward kind of lines pointing. This is all happening before the age of 35. This portion of the headline is all before the age of 35. So if there's a backward movement towards the area of Mars, it means anger, aggression and fire coming on in this particular person's head. So the chances of taking wrong decisions basically increase. So this is one thing the person needs to be more careful about. And the other aspect is there are few upward lines on the mount of Jupiter from the headline moving towards the mount of Jupiter. These are considered to be good, because this means that the thought process of this particular person is getting guided by Jupiter. Jupiter is a big planet. Big planet means growth and expansion in one's life. So having these lines is indicative of a person reaching up a high position or taking up a high position post. So this is just a probability. See, it could be, these lines are not necessarily only government. These could be high post, and high post can be in government, it can be in private sector or any other place. There's another very different kind of a sign that we see, is that a skin pattern that you see, a loop-like formation between the finger of Jupiter and the finger of Saturn, the second finger. So it is basically this loop. There are many more loops people have out here also and out here also. So these loops are comparatively common, but this particular loop that you see out here is uncommon between the first and the second finger, between the Jupiter and the Saturn finger. So what it is doing is that it is combining two planets together. And in books, if you search the internet, you would find it to be named as Raja loop, R-A-J-A loop. And those basically articles say that a person who has this particular sign, their ancestors could be at a high position or near to the king, or somewhere in the high position. and working under them or something like this. But I say that it's a little bit different. I say because we find this loop in this particular person's hand, the chances of this particular person reaching a high position increases. See, Jupiter is all about position, power, administration, organization, and Saturn is all about wisdom, money management, responsibility, all these things. So a Raja, let's say, what does Raja needs to have? Raja needs to be good at administration also, and good at money management also. Only then, if he has got the money and if he has the administrative skills, this is when the person is likely to be more successful. So this is a positive sign, but one sign can never be an ultimate sign. Try to understand that one sign doesn't mean that the person would get everything. You have to have multiple set of signs on your hand. Only then the chances of success increases. Now, a planet that is most important in the present times, and see, you would generally, people always want to know, tell me about my money line, how's it? They would basically ask me this money line. Every person, basically, a beggar can also have it, basically a billionaire can also have this money line. There's very small differentiation, but we have to look at other qualities, and the main quality to make this money line very, very strong is basically this particular area. This is the area of Mercury. Mercury in Hindi we say Budh, and Budh means Buddhi, which means knowledge, and knowledge can be of any kind. Knowledge can be drafting skills, it could be statistical skills, it could be medical science, it could be engineering, it could be business, it could be it could be anything. So so we have to look if this area is prominent and good. Area is prominent and good if it has got less lines over it, less lines, and specifically they shouldn't be horizontal lines. These horizontal lines should be not there. So if we look at this particular area, we are just finding perpendicular lines over it. The perpendicular lines basically on the mount of Mercury means that the person is sharpening their skill. Sharpening the skill basically means they are on a constantly day-to-day basis, right from an early age, right from when they were born. They are constantly sharpening their skills. A person who sharpens their skills is likely to be more successful. So these lines are good lines. I would just distinguish one more thing, that you would notice that these lines are comparatively weaker lines compared to now the third line that I've drawn and the fourth line that I am drawing. See, people think that having more lines is generally considered to be much better than having less lines. It's not like that. Even if you don't have even a single line, that can also mean you might have super good skills, provided the area does not have even a single line. Even a weak line like this should not be present. Only then I would say that this particular mount is good. So weak lines have got lesser importance. So these two skills are of lesser importance, and these two skills, that the stronger lines, are of much more bigger importance. So having multiple lines on the mount of Jupiter means that the person has got multiple set of skills. So two lines, because they are much more stronger, I would say in two set of skills the person is much more stronger compared to one set of skills. So this area can be books say that people who have got 3-4 lines, perpendicular lines, those people could be very good doctors. But I say in a different way, that I say that having 2, 3, 4 lines means 2, 3, 4 different set of skills. So this is how we come about regarding the line of skill. These line also that you see, these long lines is also a good kind of a line. This is also the Mercury line. This is nice and stable and clear, neat and clean. That's how it should be. Some people, they have got broken kind of lines, so those are not considered to be good. That is basically overworking of the mind, and you need your mind to rest also. So having lesser lines is good. Having a single line that you see I've recently drawn, this is considered to be a good line. Now another skin pattern appears to be visible out here, and this is the mount of Venus. So this portion, you would notice that there's a circular motion kind of a like a skin pattern that you see. I'm not talking about the lines. I'm talking about the skin pattern. Lines are different from skin pattern. These are the lines. These are the lines. I'm not talking about the lines, I'm talking about the skin pattern. So having a skin pattern over the amount of Venus might bring about some amount of grace and beauty and art and music to this particular person. See, this beauty can be used in poetry, the beauty can be used in playing an instrument, or beauty could be used in photography or anything, or even food. So Venus is all about food and clothes and luxuries and women, and sexual life, all these kind of things. So this is one part. The other part is that there's a circular kind of a line. This is called the Via Lascivia line. This line sometimes could mean addiction. Some people agree with it, some people don't agree with it. So I'm just, because this is the area of Venus and this is the area of Moon, this is the area, in Hindi we say man ka ilaka hai. So it's combining, it is caging the moon area. So if your moon area gets caged, it is and it's connected with Venus, and Venus is all the vices. So if there's a connection between these two, so the person could be highly addictive. See, addictive could be in any sense. It need not be addiction to any drug. It could be just addiction to sex, or it could be just addiction to or allergic to some drugs or something, or some food or clothes or environment, all these kind of things. So one of the books also say that even this could be a good indication, because this is a line, kind of a line running parallel to this is the Mercury line. So this line of Via Lascivia is running parallel to the Mercury line, so it kind of supports the Mercury line. So in that way it is good. In the other way, I've already explained that it's not so good. The money line is starting on the Mount of Moon. It means help from woman. It could be mother, sister, wife, daughter, female friends, unknown people, benefits from outside the country. The money line kind of ends after it crosses the headline. So somewhere beyond that, things are going to go downwards for this particular person in basically the work he had started. Then another, before the work ends, before a profession ends, another one is going to start somewhere at this particular age. So this portion of the life is around the age of 32, and it's going to be stable. Towards the end, you would notice a strong sun line. It means success. So in all, I would say it is a good hand. Other part is that the lifeline is taking a reasonably good curve. The importance of this is that it increases the bigger the curve it takes. Bigger the curve the lifeline takes, more basically the more energies basically are increased, because this is also the area of Venus, is also the area of energy, stamina, vitality. So having a bigger circular line is also good, because out here we see this bigger circular line. At few places there are few upward lines pointing towards the fingers, and pointing towards the finger are always considered to be good, because it indicates success, and it indicates luck striking that during that particular period of life. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching. And before I end this my video, I repeat something that I repeat in almost all the videos. We can come to know about money from almost all aspects of your hand: heart line, headline, lifeline, sun line, Mercury, Venus, Mars, or any other line. Importance of money line is just 15% in terms of money. So you would notice that I concentrated more on your Mercury line. And a saint once said, you do not need to go to an astrologer or palmist to know about your future, because you already know your future. Present is the result of past. How will be my future? Future depends upon what you are doing in the present. What are we? We are product of our thoughts. The thoughts that come to our mind are really important. Keep positive thoughts and keep good company, because if you have the right company, you are going to basically come out of your problem, because you would get good suggestions from them. And I would basically suggest one last thing to him, is that do not fall for any temptation. These lines are of temptation. These lines are to distract you. So whatever we take up at one moment of our life, like whatever we decide, okay, this is the thing that we want to do, we have to commit ourselves, we have to dedicate ourselves, we have to offer our life to this particular cause. Only then we are going to be successful. Take a look at the hands of Shah Rukh Khan or Sachin Tendulkar or Akshay Kumar. Akshay Kumar failed miserably in the earlier period of his life. His heartline was intact and simple and clear. So he didn't create stress, he didn't go into anxiety, he wasn't distracted. So having 10-15 failures, and even after that the person is able to stand, and those acting line is a very difficult kind of a line where stress develops, but the person didn't develop stress and the person remained focused, and that was basically the reason for success. Thanks, bye, and take care.